Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for my client Ted's Conjugate vlog, but a quick reminder, you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. All right, we started off max effort with an incline bench. We got a 2.5 pound PR, 227.5. Yeah, using those micro plates to get PRs, and you know what? That's perfectly acceptable. Take note, some of my other conjugate guys who try to go for those big PRs, sometimes they don't need to go for. Sometimes they'll go for that 5 or that 10 and then miss it. Sometimes it's a smart way to do it. Sometimes you just go, you know what, I'm ramping up, feels good. I got whatever, 300 last time, let's go for 302.5. It's permissible to even throw a 1 pound microplate on one side. All right, just saying. Now, for the rest of his supplemental work, we're not doing incline here. I didn't get any footage of the other speed day other than the speed bench from him, but that's okay. So we don't have the incline rep work, but we got a max, so it's in there. So for max effort, we pretty much do floor presses right now. I'm doing them with an axle bar. We do overhead press. He does pull-ups, pen lay rows. Now on dynamic bench day, I'm keeping the incline in, but I wanted here are those 3 sets of floor presses because I want to keep bringing his chest up a bit. And we're starting to experiment more with bringing the grip out. He wants to mostly close grip press, but I'm also like, well, if we want to bring the chest up, we do need to work a bit on some of the wider grips. So he's messing more of it with speed work, some of the rep exercises. So again, we want to slowly bring some of those things out. We also then, of course, do pull-ups, all right? And I've got him doing axle bar. Those are weighted pull-ups, of course. Axle bar, pen lay rows. You guys remember when I used to do these all the time? That was way back in the day. Remember, I used to do these all the time. They will build your grip. I can tell you right now, anyone who's struggling with their grip on a deadlift, this will fix it, right? Doing pen lay rows with the axle bar, because we can use so much heavier of a weight on the pen lay with it, and so it forces us to just use that grip over and over. So it's a good tool. So again, grip training, particularly because he grapples and stuff, does BJJ and stuff as one of his sports. You know, the grappling, not a bad idea, right? It's a axle bar work in general. Also notice I've got him doing the floor presses with it. So remember I told you guys a lot of this stuff we were going to get more sports specific for some of that, right? So we want to get carryover to his different endeavors, because he has said, you know, he may want to compete in powerlifting eventually. He just likes being athletic. He likes doing lots of sports, lifelong athlete, you know. So he does some martial arts, some boxing, looking at maybe jumping in and doing some powerlifting as we get stronger. All right, so that's the idea. It's like just do sports, be athletic, have athletic hobbies. Because again, lifelong athlete, you know, he was an athlete in school and everything through his adolescence and high school, and he just continued that trend, right? So here we're doing a JM press on a machine. I know people are like, what, that's crazy stuff. We just change stuff up all the time for his arm work. It's just always rotating through things. All right, we got a small PR here, 403 on the safety bar squat. Again, note that he goes super deep. Now, occasionally I've had people when he does these, they'll mention, oh, what's with that shoulder? That's like, you guys have never done a max squat on a safety bar, clearly. That's what happens. That's very normal. All right. Then we're doing the cambered bar good mornings. Now, I've left these in a couple of blocks. All right. And I know people are like, how come you'll do some lifts for months or have other lifters, but your conjugate guys are always rotating stuff? Because conjugate's a different mindset. It is that we take a different philosophy, and I think what people have to remember, there's not a Jason Blaha philosophy. I run different training modalities, and we use the modality that fits the client and the lifter. Okay, so we have to understand that. And I think every coach out there who's good at what they do does that, right? We have to say, hey, what's the tool for this person right now? So yeah, some of my people do, you know, just basic, slow, almost double progression is what I have them do for the most part. Is largely what we see a lot of on just basic exercises, and rotate a few supplemental lifts to avoid overuse. And then I got a lot of my conjugate guys who we're rotating stuff every week or rotating accessories every block. You know, every 3 weeks we rotate speed work, we rotate max work every week. But it's a different mindset. And we're also just continually chasing PRs. Right, chase PRs for 3 weeks on a supplemental lift, change the lift. Then chase PRs on the new lift. And again, it's because this training system, the whole conjugate system is built around thinking in terms of PRs all the time, all the time, all the time. So a lot of my guys, we're rotating the maxes all the time, going for even 2.5 pound, 5 pound PRs every time they do it again. It's just, you're always thinking PRs, 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 and everything is speed, speed, speed. So all this power work, speed work. Of course, I have him doing jumping and other plyometrics, right? And even a lot of the supplemental work, a lot of it we do rotate it in 3-week waves, or we change to a different variation, and we'll just keep pushing. But because he's getting a lot out of those camber bars, and I told him that, you're gonna, for what we're doing right now, your carryover is gonna be tremendous. Okay, so we had the speed bench there with the bands. Of course, in our dynamic right now, we're doing safety bar box squats for speed, and then we're doing sumo deadlifts for speed work. So again, we're rotating these in 3-week waves. Last wave on the deadlifts was deficit conventionals. It was a straight bar, right? So we're always rotating these into 3-week waves. And I like to have a lot of my people rotate conventional and sumo variations. Sometimes they can be different variations using different stuff. Sometimes we'll even change bars. And I think some people are like, what? Yeah, so some of my people will change from a deadlift bar to a stiff bar. And as funny as that sounds, we're rotating to a different movement for that 3 weeks. It's to avoid acclimation, it's to avoid adaptation. So the idea with this system is you're always thinking about new stuff, PR, every weird angle all the time. But you're always chasing numbers. That's the conjugate mindset. So it's not the same as a lot of my people who follow just basic programmings with double progressions on certain movements and things. It's a completely different mindset. And some of my people, I do a mix of them. Okay, some of my people, I do a mix of them. But I take someone like him who does a lot of different athletic stuff, does a couple of contact sports, recreationally. And so we're always thinking of all these weird angles. We need to be strong at every possible angle. Of course, then he finishes up here with some good mornings and some machine squats. Obviously, we did all his posterior chain work on these days too. Glute ham raises, GHRs, reverse hypers, all that stuff. So the other thing, though, he did tell me, he's like, Coach, I'm really fatigued. I think I need a couple days off from lifting at the end of this block. And I'm like, yeah, take it, man. That's fine. That's normal. It's what we should generally be doing. So he's going to take a couple days off, right? We're going to come back towards this weekend, fresh, refreshed, and we'll start hitting some big numbers and PRs again. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.